Television. My name is Igarunaya. Now today we are joined by a group of individuals who have come up with a campaign, or rather a charity campaign to help the girl child. Now without much ado, let me go straight and welcome them. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I want you to introduce yourself to the viewers and tell them who you are and what you do.
I'm Viola Kidui. I'm a lawyer. I practice in Nairobi in a law firm called Adolescent Advocates.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Good evening, Nali. My name is Chesoli an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and a managing partner at Greeting Company Advocates in Nairobi.
Wow. Now, as you've heard, they are advocates, and apart from that, they have started a charity campaign to help the girl child. Now, off to you, Viola. I want to start off with you. What really inspired you people to start off this campaign?
Thank you, Igadwa. What we are doing is a charity campaign to rally support to get sanitary towels to distribute to girls from needy areas. We were triggered by the fact that from the onset of this pandemic, we realized that so many girls from needy areas are suffering from lack of sanitary towels. We also realized that the government has been running a project whereby school-going girls get donations from the government in form of sanitary towels, and that is no longer going on because girls are not going to school. So we realized that the lack of sanitary towels in homes where there is a dire situation in terms of income is really triggering even girls to engage in acts like sex to get money to buy sanitary towels, and it really became an issue that pushed us to try and do something to help these girl children.
Dennis, would you have something to add on what Viola just said?
Yes. Now, our intent was triggered by our discussions. Most of the times we interact, we are actually born and bred in Tanzania. I myself, I come from a village called Saiwa. And one time, recently, just before the curfew, I managed to go home, and a girl approached me. This girl actually came with a request. She needed pads, and these arose my conscience. Going back to Nairobi, I met my colleague, and she apparently also had this particular idea. And we said, what can we do as individuals to assist this particular issue that is coming back from home? So we are a small group of professionals who are also thinking about where we do come from.
Okay, so do you work with the government, or it's just a non-governmental thing that you just decided to come up with, or what is it, Viola?
We do not work with government. We are not a politically oriented group. We are just a group of individuals who came up with a common idea to help. We actually do not harbor any political interest. We are not affiliated to any governmental organization at the moment, though we seek support from them to help us do this. But at the moment, Igado, we are doing this on our own.
Wow, that's interesting. And off to you, Dennis. Some years back, the government came up with a strategy to give sanitary towels to girls. Now, right now they're not in school. What do you think the government should do, or rather, what strategy should they come up with so that they can help the girl child now that they're not in schools and they cannot have access to the pads that were brought in school?
Indeed, Nalia, the government on its part, you cannot really blame it, but what we are saying is that it needs now to focus on what is happening. It is true that we now have a law, and that is under the Basic Act, where the government says that actually the law mandates the government to give sanitary towels, especially to girls who've reached the age of puberty. And these girls are only the girls who are registered. But now the question comes in, this particular time when they're at home, what happens? Even when previously, when the government had started the project, there were hiccups. These girls could not receive these particular towels. And all what we're trying to say is that we are asking the leadership to think about what the law mandates them. And what we are saying is that it has reached a point where this issue of the towels is all of us. You can see I'm a man, and we are talking about this because I'm saying it is a human right. We cannot continue discussing it under the showers. Previously, we had a talk with Viola, and what was coming up was the issue of taboo, where boys are still thinking or talking about these issues under the table. I was explaining to her that back then, when I was a primary school student, most of these issues were whenever a person would come to talk to girls about menstrual hygiene, the boys would always be asked to go away. And this always made us sometimes laugh at girls who could not manage to get these particular pads.
Okay, now we are going for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to tell you where they are located, what they're planning to do to the country, and what are they going to do to the girl child across Kenya. Stay tuned.
Watu 743 waripotiwa kupona kutokana na virusi.
And in the last 24 hours, Kenya alone has recorded 418 infections.
We start off with Nairobi County Assembly Speaker Beatrice Elachi. She just resigned.
Well, it's a tough financial time for many Kenyans.
In a wedding, for example, or a funeral, there are more family members than that 15.
It was an emergency closure.
The safety of health workers at workplaces must be put as a topmost priority.
Students have overstayed at home. Academic programs have been suspended and even rescheduled.
Je, idara ya polisi imekosa maadili?
Na je, afisa wa polisi wamekosa utu?
Kwa sababu ni ubunifu wako wewe mwenyewe kama mwanafunzi, kama kijana, usiweze kuketi tu kule nyumbani.
So welcome back. As I told you earlier, we have a group of individuals who are driven to do a campaign to help the girl child, necessarily the girl child, who are suffering from lack of sanitary towels, or rather, should I say, sanitary hygiene and management. Now, welcome back, Viola and Dennis. Yeah, now I'll go straight to my question now. What do you think the government should do to help the girl child in this time that they are at home? Because they used to help them while they were in school. Right now they're at home. What do you think the government should do?
Well, Nadia, as earlier on I stated that there are particular legislations that govern the issue of distribution of sanitary. But this particular legislation only targets these particular girls when they're in school. What we're trying to ask now the government is, one, is that they should now center on these particular girls when they're at home, through maybe the area leadership, that includes the chiefs, the county leaderships, and even the national government should come in and assist these girls. All we are trying to say is also, it is not a question of only the government. Because when you look at the national, the Ministry of Health, menstrual hygiene management policy, it talks about the individual responsibility. The question is this: me as a man, and why am I also involved in this, is the fact that that particular policy asks every individual to be part of this particular campaign. It is a question of I myself, while I'm going to do shopping for myself in the house, if I have girls, it is a duty that I do have as a head of that particular home to also make sure that I get some pads for the girls.
Wow. Viola, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes, Nadia. I would add that I think it's high time that our legislators and leadership should come up with a piece of legislation, just as my colleague has said, to cover the girls when they're outside school. We do have the Basic Education Act, as you say, which protects them when they're in school. What about when they're outside? How should the government should look into a way to make the society responsible towards the girl child when they are at home? I think by so doing, we'll also address the other nuisance, the other problem that is facing girls now, which is the issue of early teenage pregnancies.
Okay, now what means are you using to raise funds as per now?
As per now, as we told you earlier, this is just an individual-based program. We are actually rolling out support to get donors to come in to help us. We have also been trying to reach all the people we know in the society who are capable to help us, and so far we've received so much support from a lot of people whom we know. If I could mention a few, we've received some support and a promise of much more from one Mr. Ruben Chebai, who is a well-known businessman in Kwanza area in Trans Nzoia. We've also received a lot of promise and support from people like Mr. Gaira, who's the head teacher of Hill School, and many others who have come in and helped us. We are also doing our own campaigns, such as we do have these t-shirts, which are going in a set of this t-shirt and a cap. They are in purple, white, and red colors. This t-shirt basically tells the public that you made a girl child smile. So this set of a t-shirt and a cap, sorry, we did not carry the cap, goes for an amount of 1,000 shillings, and all the proceeds which we will get from the sale of these t-shirts will be going into this particular charity that we're doing. So we welcome the public to purchase these t-shirts to help us in this initiative.
Wow, and I think I'll be the first person to purchase the t-shirt because I'm ready to support the girl child. Now off to you, Dennis. Now, where are you specifically located?
Now, as you had previously on that we are targeting Trans Nzoia County, it doesn't really mean that specifically that is the end of it. But at the moment, there are various drop-off points. One I offered myself at the law firm in Nairobi, that is Gorete and Company Advocates, where you can drop to Chumi House, 8th floor. Then there is another one that my friend and colleague Viola will explain to you, where you can drop off in Bungoma and Kitale.
Okay, so what strategy are you using? Because you say you're not located in one place because you want to reach out to all the girls across the country. What strategy have you put in place so that you can reach to all the girls and help them?
Now, Nadia, as you can see, it is not an easy task. It is quite an immense task to cover every girl in Kenya. The only thing that we started off was, first of all, getting a group of professionals who were together with, and other professionals, including teachers and the county leaderships, and even the people who we interact with. We are trying to raise this conscience whereby people will start viewing that it is okay. It is okay to contribute to this particular charity. And even tomorrow when we'll be moving to another county, again we'll be asking these particular professionals and other individuals to assist us also to make sure that, because this is not an issue that is only centered in a certain area. What we are realizing is that, in fact, the areas that were perceived to be okay actually are in dire need.
Okay, so what specific areas do you think people perceive to be okay and they're not okay?
Coming from Trans Nzoia County, we would say Trans Nzoia is one of those places. Trans Nzoia County is perceived as the breadbasket of the country. So the assumption that goes on is that Trans Nzoia area is a home of wealthy farmers. But we do have those amongst us who are actually needy. Take for instance, we are in the month of August. There is no labor in the farms in Trans Nzoia. Everyone is sitting at home waiting for the crop to mature. So it actually becomes increasingly hard for the not well-to-do families to even put food on the table, let alone a pack of sanitary towels.
Wow. So have you strategized on any campaign that you're going to do this reason on? When are you planning to start your campaign? officially?
Nalia, as we are speaking right now, the campaign has started. I am sure that some of the viewers have actually seen in the social media, and they have also heard in other mainstream medias. And we are also using this particular platform to ask all those who are viewing us to wake up that conscience and contribute. What we are trying to tell people is this, is that at the end there is accountability. It is something that it is centered to assist us as a people. We actually are focusing on our issues. And one of the issues is this particular one that we are driving. If at home you are able right now to raise money for a politician to do campaigns, how about this one that actually requires you, that is centered at you?
So to add on that, Nalia, I would say that our mediums of campaign is centered in social media, because we realize that with this current generation, almost the bigger percentage of people actually can access social media. We would like to go out there and even publish, but right now our capability is small. So we are tweeting about this, we are posting on Facebook, we are running WhatsApp statuses and posts, we are reaching people directly through their messages, we are calling them and asking them for support. We are also getting, from our media interaction, we are also getting calls from CBOs in groups, and we are notifying them of what you're doing and asking them to go out and spread the word.
Okay, now do you have sponsors or partners who you're doing this work with?
Nalia, at this moment, we can comfortably say that we have not yet gotten any sponsor on board. The money that we have raised this far, we have raised it from us and our friends. We've been reaching out to people and we've been getting support. We've also been running challenges such as skip a lunch for a girl child, whereby we encourage the general public to skip a lunch. You might be planning to take a lunch of maybe 50 shillings. 50 shillings is equivalent to a pack of pads. So if you sacrifice that lunch, you have helped a girl to take care of a period for a period of 7 days in 1 month, which is actually really commendable and doing that.
Wow.
Just to add on what my colleague Viola said, indeed it has become a challenge to get donors. Right now we understand that there is the issue of pandemic, so money that actually used to come from abroad is not coming in, including also us as individuals. It is quite a hard time, of which, in as much as we are saying it is a hard time, we cannot negate the fact that this is something that is there. The menstrual hygiene has to be taken care of. There are some of our colleagues who have come on board, including my former school, St. Joseph's Boys Kidui. They have stood with us. There are other professionals, including FIDA, who have promised to come on board.
Now, if for support, how can someone reach you guys?
Now, one, you can reach us using the social media, as we had already said that this is a campaign really centered at social media. One, you can get in touch with me at Dennis Chesoli on all medias, that is including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also get my colleague who will tell you where you can get her. You can also get on our individual phone numbers, which my number is 0719-859-1130.
We indicated on the posters which are out there, we put our phone numbers there, but for purposes to make it easy for anyone who wants to reach me or require anything, my number is 0727-663221.
Okay, now what's your final remarks for the girl child or for anyone who really wants to support you guys? And yeah, anyone, talk to the viewer and tell them what you really want, like our final remarks.
Nadia, my final remarks, I would say first that menstrual hygiene is not a girl child's problem alone. It is a societal thing, it's a human right that all men, including our fathers, need to raise up and stand up. What we are saying is that it's a high time that we bring equality. If a boy would go to school for 30 days and a girl will miss school for 2 weeks, then it is not right. All we are saying is that join us in this particular campaign, raise this conscience, and even as you're watching, we just request that you also have these particular discussions. It is not something that, again, we'll continue talking under the table.
Now, Viola, my final remarks, Nalia, will just to call out on the general public to help a girl child. Just help a girl child. If you cannot come to our charity drive to help us, please buy a pack of pads for girls in your neighborhood who need them. I would also like to say that in as much as we are running this campaign, we have issued a pay bill number, which is 4029693, where you can channel your contribution. Any amount will be appreciated. You can also bring to us pads physically, as my colleague has said. He's indicated the Nairobi drop zone being at Uchumi House 8th floor, Goretti and Company Advocates. You can also drop them in Bungoma. You can drop them at Dolls Executive Wear, which is opposite Generations Hotel, next to Kutalangi Stores in Kidui. In Kitale, you can go to Eagles Plaza, opposite the County Hotel, next to Waki Shop. There's a shop called City Apparels, which sits on office number 31A on the first floor of that building. Please bring us 1 pad, bring us 10 pads, bring us more. We'll be so grateful. We'll be able to touch a girl's life. Please do this with us.
Wow, I'm very much humbled with these particular individuals who have just come together to make a girl child smile. Now with that, I don't have much to say, but to just close, I have been your host, Igadonalia, and please make sure you contribute us at least 50 shillings to make a girl child smile. Have a wonderful night.